Jason Bourne.
I know you're looking for something. Let me help you find it. Come back in.
I volunteered because I thought our enemies killed my father.
Sorry, I'm getting set up here, and it's, you know, same old, same old. Gonna have to kill my screensaver for a second. Hopefully that music isn't too overwhelming, I hope. I think my mic is picking up pretty okay. Oh, I lost the viewer. That might be the... Whoops. Well, that's okay. It's okay. to do one other thing. Since the stream is kind of working from the very beginning, I want to go ahead and share it. Share my stream. Hold on. Oh, goodness. Still getting set up. Checking my audio levels. Okay. So one more second while I'm finished getting myself sorted out. Wow, that music is wow. That's some music right there, boy. I tell you. That's wow. That's happening. That music is happening right now. I'm so sorry. It's serious, man. It's serious music right there. Wow. That was some sadness wrapped up in despair. Oh, now we got funky. Now we got funky here. Okay. Now, funky, funky, funky. Get me funky with the funk. Funky, funky. All right. Where were we? The brush doesn't look familiar at all. I want this brush. And then I want to make it bigger. Much better. Okay. Oh, wait, we'll shade our layers. Checking the layer. You can go away. Go here. Have a close look here. Depending on, I don't know, how this goes, we might see some inkage of this. So fear not, I feel like some of this undone. It's, yeah, I don't like this brush. It's a little, let's try this one. Let's erase it. Here we go. Clean up a bit. Now, what we're gonna do about this? Use some shading to kind of give this a little bit more depth. Maybe, I don't know. Don't know if I love that. I'll take a little more doing. Okay. Let's try something like everyone's doing the. It's so really fast. Well, we're gonna do something a little different with our battery. How about that? Do a little bit of this. And then we'll. Oh, I like that idea actually. All right. Well, since we went that far, let's go farther with the Batman. Let's do that. Let's see here. Let's see if we can give him some sort of. Okay. And we'll swing this out like this. Make it into a thing here. And we'll just put the same thing on this side over here. Okay. And we'll down. We won't go all not Tim Burton, but Joel Schumacher with the costume. We'll give a little definition here. I used to love drawing like the muscles and stuff, but it just at the end of the day, it worked against the idea of movement and fluidity. Drawing every ab muscle just at the end, it made it look like he was an action figure and not a person. And so I kind of got sick of that. I really did. I wanted instead to have something a bit more organic, I guess. So now it's about marrying the two ideas, so that I can get a little bit of both. You can can see the musculature and the definition, but it actually looks like he's a person who has like, internal organs and stuff. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just go traditional with the. I'm probably gonna look at the cowl again, to be honest. Still technically putzing around. Come on, there you go. Come on, Compy 2000. I want to layer. Now I'm making some serious like rush job mistakes. Like one thing I'm doing wrong is I am not labeling my layers, and that is just one of those things where you gotta get in the middle of what you're doing. And what I tell myself is to like every once in a while just kind of stop and do that maintenance, and that does not work. It's something about developing the routine at the beginning of each project. So I either do the proper labeling and stuff at the very beginning, or I suffer the consequences. But very rarely do I ever have the wherewithal to recognize that I kind of blew it and then label up later. Huh. Those are my dogs acting like assholes because sometimes they're just dicks. Sometimes they're just a couple of fucking dicks. You know, and I now, my youngest, or the second, the newest dog in the pack of three motherfucking dogs is a huge asshole sometimes. A lot. I love that guy to death. I do. Don't get me wrong, but he is an asshole. I just, uh, uh, it's just it hurts my heart for him to sometimes be in the same room as me because he's such a fucking dick. You hear him in there now. He's just being a dick in there. Ain't nothing wrong. She took the smallest, oldest, tiredest dog for a walk without him, and he cannot believe that shit just happened. And she just took his ass for a walk. So it ain't like he didn't go for a walk. He went for a walk, but he's out there mad because he didn't go. He didn't get to go the second time around, and so he's barking at nothing. But you know what? He's still barking. I can tell his asshole barking. That's his asshole bark. But just in case something happened, I gotta go out here and see what the fuck is wrong with this dumb motherfucker. Hold on one second. God damn it! come in here then. Where's the other one? Nathan. Nathan. Now hang out until she gets back. Just relax. There you go. Alright. You're being recorded, so stop breathing so hard. Alright. Alright, it's easier if I just bring the little jerks in here with me while I'm doing this. Oh, come on. I applied at many jobs. I do the day job, so I'm hoping that one of them. If this mother. Cut it out. Just one of you. GameStop, PetSmart, Target, some writer company that needs a writer. Someone please hire me. I can do this. And if I can sell an issue, maybe I won't need to worry about money, but right now I don't have time. Just, something to keep me afloat until I can finish one of these comic books. Alright. Having dreams blows. It does. I hate to say it to the kids out there, but having a dream is oftentimes not what it's cracked up to be, I tell you that much. Come on, get it there. There you go. Okay, usually I can just kind of splayed finger action, mostly to show you that I can draw fingers, but you know what? I don't even care. I don't feel like drawing fingers today. When are you supposed to draw today? Supposed to play video games all day, wait for my monitor to come. But I've been itching to draw, which is a nice feeling, which is why I've been resisting the urge to draw, because I don't want to waste up all that good mojo. It's like dice. Like, don't roll my dice. Every time you do that and it's not for nothing, then I'm wasting a dice roll. You just roll like 4 20s, and I'm never gonna get those rolls now because you wasted them. Don't roll my dice. So it's like, don't draw my comics when I'm not actually ready to draw my comics because I'm just wasting it. I like those boots. Those boots kind of came out, you know. They kind of came out a little bit. They kind of came out a little bit. All right. Now, let's get into the layering here so we can kind of focus on some of the accoutrement of the bat suit we're creating here. Man, I gotta tell people I'm making a new bat suit. I'm making a new bat suit in here in this piece. Alright, this is. I don't know if my computer's messing up or the song is supposed to sound like this. I think it's the song supposed to sound like this, which is kind of BS, man. Like, you figure it was broken. Like, if you were at the DJ's house, he's like, check this song out. And you're like, is your equipment broken? He's like, no, asshole. That's what it's supposed to sound like. You're like, I couldn't tell because I thought your equipment was broken because it kept skipping in and out. I'm the asshole. Every time I hear, like, house music, I think of two things. My boy Terry, who played some of that cool stuff. Like, he just knew the cool shit. He played the cool shit at my house one afternoon. And I was like, you know what, man? I don't particularly care for this all the time, but this is cool. And I forget the name of the group he played, but it was real cool shit. And I was like, you know what? This is cool. I can deal with this. And then, of course, the episode of Key and Peele, where them motherfuckers destroyed their goddamn house. That shit was hilarious. I don't like that. We're gonna keep it up for now. For now. We can get rid of it later. We can try something different later. Okay. Now, the utility belt's very important. I don't want a bat symbol, or at least not completely like on purpose. Let's do something very simple like that. And we'll just do it like that, because it's a belt, damn it. It should be belty first. Like, I don't understand the bat themed things that no one's ever going to see. Like, I really think that Batman's Bat Cave, that's supposed to be a secret to everyone, should look like a couple of cubicles and stuff. Like in Batman v Superman, everything about Batman in that movie was awesome. Really and truly, everything about Batman was dope. I thought Jeremy Irons was a great person to pick to play Alfred. I thought that the way they like created Batman's environment was just utilitarian and Spartan, because that is kind of like Batman's mental whatever what have you. He's Sherlock Holmes, man. He's not in for the gaudy, and the theatrics are just like an afterthought for when he's out on the street. All the bat shit should not exist in Batman's sort of MO. Like, there shouldn't really be a bunch of bat themed anything outside of the things that people see, like his costume. And you're not even supposed to see that shit either. Like, I don't know, man. Like, for him to be an urban legend, he has a fucking plane that flies through the sky, looks like a bat. That's hard to be an urban legend if that's how you get down. Batman should be way more understated and low key. I'm just saying. Batman should be a better Batman if that's his goal. Because he out there dripping. And I should point out that I brought up Jim Lee because as I thought about the costume I was going to put on this guy, Jim Lee's rendition of Batman's costume is super cool to me. And I play DC Universe Online. Ooh, we might as well, since we're kind of like making a bootleg Batman, let's just go straight all bootleg and not cop to like trying to be like Batman and like, you know, and just make our own bat symbol and everything. It's obviously Batman, but let's do something different. Let's make the wings come out like this because bat wings attach at the ankles anyway. How's that sound? And then we'll do like that. And then we'll play with the final symbol in a little bit. And the more I'm doing this now, the more I want to do it in color and the whole 9 yards. I really do now. I really do. I'm kind of liking this. Now, I don't like when I like my stuff, but I'm kind of liking this. This is irritating the crap out of me because I like it. Okay. Now, what we could also try and do is maybe put a little, I don't know, like attach the, nah, we won't do that. That doesn't seem worth it. Okay. So, see, this is where the pose sort of works against us, or me, because the pose now is a detraction from the detailing stuff. His pose is too generic. You know, it's just, he should have an angle or something he's sitting at. But you know what? Let's see what we can do here with this. Let's clean it up a little bit. Lose some of these extra shit here. Got rid of that one. Got rid of that one. Oh. Kept the head though. Okay. Ooh, gosh. I got some ideas already based on what we got going on. Okay. So we're going to make a folder so that we can keep all these layers together. A folder sort of lightens the burden of not labeling your layers. I mean, if you're working in this much proximity, I try and, because I know how you can get layer crazy, I try and keep my layers to a minimum. And I will label this because I'm thinking about it. Come on, baby. Come on. All right, there you go. Okay, we'll just call this layer. Oh, you bitch. Layer pencil. And watch, it won't space it, of course, so we're going to back it up and hit space. Layer pencil. Backwards, you know, it doesn't matter. Oh, now you want to come up on your own, you piece of shoe. Okay, so, close this bad boy. That layer is closed. I like to keep the little things, these little windows and stuff small, so I can just get more surface area and it can be open while I work. Okay, so now we're going to drop the opacity like it's hard. And if you're thinking his arms are a little short, I agree. If you think I'm going to do anything about it, no. Because I see something else I want to fuck with. So I'm going to do that instead. I'm going to do that instead. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fuck with this. I fucks with this. Something about the neck caught my interest. Since we're doing our own version of Batman, straight up. Straight up. Number one in the hood, G. Alright, so. We got our pencil. Let's do it. Let's do this. Like, I wish a pencil felt like this when I use it. Ugh. I'd be like, sorry, Marge, you need to be alone with the sandwich for a while. Oh my gosh. Shouldn't feel this good to use a pencil. It shouldn't. I mean, it's not a pencil, but it feels like it looks like a pencil. It doesn't feel like a pencil. Is what it is. It's if you've ever used a pen that was erasable, that's kind of what drawing with Photoshop is like. And so anyone who is sort of hesitant to hop into Photoshop in this regard to use it like this, um, or be smarter than me and learn how to use Illustrator. I have Illustrator. It just kind of scares me for some reason. I've tried it. I just feel like Photoshop gives me what I want without having to budge. And I don't know. Shit, I like Photoshop the way it works. I like the way it works. And it does it does what I want it to do for the most part. Anyone who thinks Illustrator is better, I would say they're probably right. I don't know. I just know that I don't really use it to the same effect as a seasoned Illustrator person would be able to use it. It's just not my bag, but I would never, ever be caught dead trying to argue one program over another. I just don't have the balls to, or the audacity to make that kind of claim. All I know is I like Photoshop. And I know that for the most part, Photoshop, helps me do what I want to do. And I'm pretty sure if I had another $6,000 to spend, I could go learn how to use Illustrator, and it will be money well spent. But right now, I don't have $6,000, so I'll be using Photoshop. But if you are considering Wacom and drawing on any sort of program where you're drawing on a screen, like a touch tablet or a pen tablet or a Wacom pad or whatever you are going to draw on, get a pen with erasable ink or not. Just get a pen and hit your sketchbook, bombing that shit with pen all day, every day. Just go ahead and do it, man. Because once you do that, the moment you put this light pen to the thing, to the get down. I'm sorry, I'm distracted trying to make a point and do this at the same time. Come on, baby. There you go. I probably got a purge in a minute. You'll see it. You'll feel the similarity. And it's just a matter of like, don't worry about the control. People put these screens on their computers to mimic the resistance of a pencil. And again, hey, whatever works, that's the ultimate rule of thumb. If it works for you and you make beautiful shit and you love the shit you do, use whatever helps you make the most beautiful shit possible. Don't listen to anyone else who says otherwise. That's just the honest truth. If someone tells you you should use something else because they think it'll work better for you, you can give it a shot. But if it don't, it don't. And if they keep harping on it, tell them to leave you alone and draw out the damn selves if they can't understand that it's your fucking time and energy you're spending. I went to a couple art schools. Where I originally learned to draw was illustration classes in San Francisco. And I had a teacher. I was concerned. I was afraid because I was an English major who all of a sudden switched gears and majored in illustration and didn't think I had the skill to be a illustrator, to draw at all. And I'm like, I'm about to come up here and just just throw my money away. I've been drawing for years, but my drawings were all shitty. You know, every single one of them was just shitty for years and years and years. And here I was at this expensive school, super expensive, with, to me, like zero fucking skill or competency. And I said to the teacher, one of my issues is I can't keep my hands from shaking. My hands are just not steady. I don't have like tremors or nothing. It ain't like super noticeable where I can't do nothing. But as far as keeping my hands steady for a straight line, fatigue sets in. I can't draw with that much stillness. You might be noticing how much the pen dances across the screen. That's because I can't just. You see, I draw in short strokes, and I mean, anyone will tell you, and I would agree with them almost all the time, that that's not the best technique. It isn't. I mean, listen, the way I draw is not the best technique for anyone, maybe even for me. I could meet someone tomorrow who says, hey, try this, and it'll change my life forever. But for now, I draw in scratches and strokes because Photoshop was the ultimate safety net, you know. But as a teacher, after I told him my hands weren't steady and I was worried about painting and stuff like that, he held out his hand and he looked at me and he said, look, am I steady? And I said, no, I guess you're not all that steady. And he said, look, it don't matter how you get there. The point is that you get there. Finish the work. Get to the end. Produce the pretty picture. However you make it pretty. However you need to get whatever's on your mind onto the paper, you do it. And you and sort out the rest. Now classes, he told me, classes are going to require you to do certain things to make sure you have the competency, your understanding information. It's a test, but it doesn't mean that you have to always do that from that point on. And that was when I knew when teachers were helpful and when teachers were, well, not helpful. When they had advice that I should probably take with a grain of salt. Because a lot of teachers since then have told me things like, look, for this class, yeah, do X, Y, and Z. But man, if you got a way to do this when it works for you, when you're done with this class, you do what works for you. And I thought that was awesome. I can't put my finger on how you're supposed to run an art school. Art is supposed to be this personal thing that it's like a reflection of your inner heart. And since art teachers aren't psychiatrists, I don't know how they're supposed to explain to you how you bring it out of your inner heart, you know. So I give art teachers a whole lot of like slack because I don't understand personally how you're supposed to really teach the art part of it. You can only teach technique. You can only teach methodology. You can't help necessarily someone express themselves necessarily. You can encourage, but there's no rule book on how to put your heart into your work. You gotta love it that much. And I think maybe all an art teacher can really be at the end of the day is enthusiastic, you know, about the art. And you know, it ain't like math. There's some truths to art, but it ain't the same as math, man. There's not a lot of universal stuff in that bad boy. Oh, I like that. I think that's gonna work out. Now, also, I'm thinking at this point that we might want to lose one of these arms. Like, maybe it won't piss me off so bad if the arm looks so shitty if we lose one of them. I think we're gonna lose the right arm. We're gonna lose it right now. We're gonna make some adjustments. We're gonna go ahead and just bring the cape down here. And this also kind of gives us the chance to think about the cape. Batman's cape is so like versatile. It has so many functions. Like when you think about Batman's cape, it's typically flame retardant, right? So it's fireproof. A lot of renditions of the cape make it a glider of some sort. So you know we got the glider action, um, and then outside of the glider action, depending again, it could add some amount of heft to it to be used as a weapon of some sort. Like in the Arkham series, of course, Batman's cape can stun opponents if it's just so heavy it's distracting, like a big heavy net or whatever. They give it kind of Spider-Man sort of omni gadget feel for the webbing in a way. The cape is an underused omni gadget for Batman, which is probably thankful because artistically you want to be able to destroy it a lot. So it can't be so durable and so dope that it's indestructible and you can't get those awesome visuals of the tattered cape because, you know, I love that shit too. I ain't gonna lie. When they show Batman and Superman especially Superman with the cape all tattered, and that's how hard the fight is. Man, that shit is dope, you know. So I'd hate to lose that if I was a Batman artist. I'd hate to lose the ability to do that by making the cape like physically functional and artistically functional so much that you can't have fun with it because it no longer makes sense for the cape to look like that, you know. So we lost an arm because I script the arms. I didn't like the arms. That's that Photoshop, baby. That's that Photoshop. If this was pencil and paper, that arm is not lost. That arm is now a pain in my ass. I'm gonna hope that when it's photocopied or something, or my line work was so light that you can erase it with ease. But F that, son. F that, Charlie. I'm out the You know what? I don't want that there no more. And now there's no more. See? So that's how you roll with Photoshop, baby. That's how you do it. You don't even take that shit from nobody. Ain't no physics involved as far as the paper. It's magic paper. If someone wants to bootleg a copy of Photoshop and sell it to artists and some other shit, they called it magic paper. No one would ever realize what the fuck they were talking about. But Photoshop is magic paper. No more, no less. Now, I know you can edit photos and make stuff. I've made a few memes. I make some memes sometimes. Mostly they're practice, but I believe in the memes I make because typically they're like have some sort of personal belief or political something like that. I mean, I don't make wild statements, but I will make a meme maybe. I thought about making a meme for this video, but I was like, no, let's just draw some shit instead. Because the meme I want to make is making fun of Scott Baio because I heard about the shit he did with the picture, the meme he shared of Hillary Clinton. I thought that was some low down shitty shit. Like that's some two-faced I want to have moral superiority, but I don't want to be moral. That's the part that hurts me about the wing of Republicans who are all up in people's faces, because it's not every Republican you meet. I mean, a lot of cool Republicans. I know a lot of cool Republicans, people who are just socially conservative, who believe in things like right to privacy and economic stability, all those things. Like there's aspects of the political platform that are not unlike the liberal slant. I mean, to be quite honest, the parties aren't that far apart. They spend more time explaining how far apart they are instead of copying to what they agree on to fix things, which is irritating to me personally. Like, I don't think there's much difference in a Republican and a liberal, or the Republican and Democrat. I don't think there's all that much difference. The parties were at one point the same party. So don't give me all this shit about how different you are. And the more you tell me how different you are, the more I realize you're the same. Because you shouldn't care that much. And it shouldn't be it shouldn't burn your ass to be similar to another American. I mean, we're talking about the American dream, right? So you may have a slightly different interpretation of the American dream. That don't mean you left the fucking country. So as soon as someone gets all butthurt that I think that liberals and conservatives aren't truly that far apart, I know I'm talking to someone who doesn't fucking get it. That's what I'm talking to. That's what I'm talking to. Someone who doesn't really get it. We aren't that far apart. I know some people who are Republican, who vote Republican, who don't particularly care who don't particularly care for Barack Obama. They honestly don't really give a shit that he's black. They just don't like his policies. And you can argue that all day. And that's kind of the point. You're supposed to argue that all day. You're supposed to talk about it all day because when you vote, you're deciding. And when you're talking about deciding, you're talking about solving problems, solvency. And so you can never get enough of that conversation. You can never get enough of that dialogue. That's the whole point to free assembly. That's why that right is so important in the Constitution. And we've let our political parties sort of take advantage of that to control the political process. And that's not in the Constitution. The conventions and all that shit, that's some bullshit right there. That's some straight up bullshit. That's hijacking. I don't like the fact that we have this quote unquote two-party system that doesn't truly exist in the Constitution. It's not provided for in the Constitution. Political parties are sort of like the right to privacy. There's no actual wording necessarily. It's insinuated, So the right to free assembly, the fact that they can't keep you from organizing and discussing politics is kind of the foundation for the political party system. Now, there is some information in the Constitution concerning how like when you get to the point where they talk about the procession of president, like if the president should be, knocking on wood,
not finish their term because they passed away? Who's next? And so on and so forth. And in that doctrine, in that part of the Constitution, I think there is some mention of party, but I have to look. I've read the Constitution I don't know how many times. Literally, I've read it probably more than I've read any other document, but I don't own a copy of it currently, and I haven't looked at that particular section in a while. But one of the articles gives you the right to free assembly, and that is where the parties are kind of buried in there. And wow, we're talking about politics. I have no audience either, which is perfect. Okay, well, basically, in the history of the United States, you've had multiple political parties that have always, varied in their size and scope and how far-reaching they are. And because of what's called a bicameral senatorial, like the way it's all set up in twos and odd numbers and all that shit, it kind of devolves into this either or kind of situation. Mostly because America enjoys a winner-take-all electoral process. So if you get the most votes, you are the outright winner. There is no plurality of votes like there is in Britain. And remember, Parliament comes a little after, the American Congress. And while we can always be like, yeah, we figured it out first, there's a benefit to coming second, you nimrods. You should watch golf more. The guy who goes first usually helps everyone else figure out what they're going to do. They have a good idea now of what they're going to do after seeing the guy in the front go first. So there's very little benefit in certain areas to being the front runners, and politics and world building is kind of one of them. So we should turn and look back at what Britain and other countries have done after seeing us take the first shot from the tee and go, oh, they learned something from us. And maybe because they learned something from us, we can, utilize their improvements on the horse shit that we did, because we didn't get it right automatically that first time. We kind of fucked up a bit here and there. We did. They ain't perfect. And the whole idea about the Constitution was kind of anticipating this idea that we weren't going to nail it the first time. And then we spend who knows how many hours and years convincing ourselves that we absolutely nailed it. And there's nothing we need to ever do to fix and change it. And so now, making any kind of real change in the country's policy, the real issues where the policy lies is like pulling fucking teeth from babies. And that's our trouble. And right now, the Republican convention just wrapped up, and it was a bunch of blowhard rhetoric that scares the shit out of people like me. Alright, get out of here then. She's home now. They were barking so loud. Alright. There we go. So they were good. They were good dogs. You didn't even hear them in here. But someone came in the house, and they barked. You think that's right. Dogs are supposed to bark. F that. If a burglar came in here, they would be barking until the burglar pet him. And they was like, alright, he's cool. He's going through all the shit in the house, but he must be a mover because he pet us. Yeah. I love those guys, though. I don't want dogs that are scary. I don't want dogs that bite people. I don't want a dog that acts like that. You should beware of owner. I'm going to whoop your ass at my house. You got to worry about my dog. It's not traumatizing my dog. It'll keep me from whooping your ass all night. Because I don't want my dog to see me kick your ass like that. But, yeah, I wouldn't want like a killer dog. It would just be a bummer all the time to have some kind of vicious monster in your house. I was in Tennessee with my uncle doing this gardening thing, and there was a guy who had these big old pit bulls. And I like pit bulls. They're good-looking dogs. Never had one before, but, they're good-looking dogs. And he was walking them on a leash, and that's always cool because you're responsible. You got your dogs. The leash is for your dog's safety, not everyone else's. And so he's walking along, and there's this old kind of like Cocker Spaniel, big furry, cute old guy. He's sitting there in the street, and and he's walking his pit bulls, and he's trying to, get his all mosey on. The other lady saw him with the pit bulls, and she picked her dog up because her dog was too rambunctious. She wasn't gonna take any chances. Another responsible pet owner. She wasn't mad. She thought it was cute, but she, just to be on the safe side, grabbed her little dogs up so her dog would be cool. But the other old dog didn't have an owner out there. He was kind of sitting there in the street. And he was like, man, I'm too old to be jumping out the way of these motherfucking pit bulls. If they got a problem, man, they can just fucking suck my dick. And he just sat there in the street. And the pit bulls were like, are you gonna move? You gonna get the fuck out of here, man? We're walking down the street. We're pit bulls. We run this. And look at our master. Look at our owner. He has these big muscles and he's holding us tight. And we could totally probably drag his big ass down the street, but we're not because he looks all buff and stuff. And we like the fact that he has high self-esteem because we have high self-esteem. So we're not gonna drag him down the street to kick your ass. We want you just to mosey on out the way. And he's like, well, I lived a long time, so I'm just gonna sit here in the street and lick my ass while you stand there and wait till I'm done. And he did. My man with these big old pit bulls just chilled and just checked his phone until the old dog was done licking his ass before he moseyed on with his pit bulls. I thought that was cool. But my mom told me that up here people are way more into their pets than where we came from. Where dogs are just car alarms you feed every day. Now my dogs play fetch. They got a big old backyard. When I get my own place, I gotta come back here and play fetch with them motherfuckers. Boy, that's gonna piss me off after a while. I'm get up in the morning and come play fetch with some dogs. God damn it. But I'm gonna enjoy it when I get here because it's fun. They play fetch. They like, I throw shit and they go get it and I give them treats and they're like, this is the best thing ever. I'm like, well, girls are pretty cute, but yeah, this is cool. Shit. Let's see here. So, man, this is kind of coming along, and I'm still thinking about doing a little ink work and then maybe even coloring this bad boy. But what color will we color him? What color will we color this guy? I'm also gonna probably stop and check my level to see if the audio came through. I don't know if anyone can hear me, so I'd like to work on the color part and actually know that someone can hear what I'm saying if they tune in. I can't tell. I turned down something, so I don't think I'm picking up very well on this rig because my other videos I've been doing on my main tower, which is where my art is all going to transfer to when my monitor gets here. My YouTube tablet is where I watch myself play like a video game or whatever. So now that I'm on the tablet running XSplit, I don't know if I'm getting the same audio quality I was just getting on the last video, or the video before last. Now, I can set it up, I think I can set up dual monitors. Actually, that might not be a bad idea. See, I think I can set up dual monitors, right? Where my laptop is not actually running the program. I'm just using it as a monitor. And my desktop is the one actually running XSplit and the whole 9 yards. And I could just look at the feed on a split screen. And then that way, I might get a little more processing power. And I can run all my audio through the program on my tower, which I know is functioning properly. And just leave the Fujitsu tablet out of it. And basically just use it as a really nice Wacom, or use it as a monitor that's way too small to be a monitor and laying flat. See, right now I'm hunched over my table, and that is a drag. I would much rather be on a horse, which is so weird to say because when I was in art school, it was my least favorite thing. 6 hours on a horse blows. And I'm not going to tell you what a horse is if you don't know. I'm playing the CinemaSins pronoun game. What is a horse? You can't possibly mean that you were in art class sitting on Mr. fucking Ed. You know, you can't possibly mean that. And I'm going to say, maybe I do mean that. Maybe I mean I'll sit on a fucking horse in the middle of a San Francisco art class. Maybe that's exactly what the fuck I'm saying, but, you know, it's not true. It's an uncomfortable piece of instrument that sucks balls, but after you do it, for a long enough period of time. I don't know. I got an idea. I think I might have too much stick for this though, but let's see what we got here. I might have a little too much lumber. Let's make this a little smaller. We went back down by 5. That's interesting. Okay, let's see. I broke a lot of rules to do this. His head isn't right. Like I just decided I wanted the mask and the iconic whatchamacallit more than I wanted to draw a dude's face. And that's my failure as an artist. I can have no qualms about admitting that. I think what separates a great Batman artist from assholes like me is the ability to let go of the desire to do the iconic and just remember your rules. So don't try and perfectly get the the cowl in the classic sense. Just draw a dude with a cowl who looks like Bruce Wayne, because then he'll look like Batman and you'll be golden. And I didn't do that. I was trying to make sure that before you saw anything, you saw Batman. You saw that guy. So yeah. So yeah. The iconic trumped the reasoned sort of. So now I gotta find his actual face. I gotta find the actual dude and what he should have going on. His head is kind of tilted a little bit. The reason I want to find it is because I'm thinking about doing this. Hmm. Okay. 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 I need a little less pixel here. Oh, now I'm going down to the ones. Okay. Come on, baby. Give it up. Give it up. Give it to me. Okay. I'll do it. Get rid of that. Didn't like that the first time, the second time, the third time I did it. We're gonna just use this to do some shading later. And I've been really working hard on my inner Jay Lee. Not to be confused with Jim Lee. Jay Lee is a different artist with a different approach. He was equally, I guess, as skilled and tremendous at what he does. I would never try and decide who is quote unquote better at being awesome. But Jay Lee does some cool stuff with his artwork as well. And his cool stuff, as far as I'm concerned, has to do with his inking and just how detailed and dark and moody it all is. But he can do an X-Men story that is dark and moody, but also funny and charming, and then it'll fall in line with a series. Like, so Jay Lee was working for Marvel during a series called Execution or something, and the Kubert brothers were involved. Maybe not both of them. I don't remember. Gosh, can't remember which one of them it was. He had taken over for Jim Lee, so it might have been Andy, but it may have been both of them. So then someone else, Greg Capullo was working in that era for the X books as well. So he was doing, I think he was doing X Force. Jay Lee was doing X Factor, and one of the Kuberts was doing X Men. If I got that right, there. And I don't know how many of the X Men books were involved in the story, but yeah, that was the lineup. And Kubert, to me, reminds me of Marvel's heyday. You know, when you laughed, when you smiled, when Spider-Man was funny. And I know Spider-Man's funny again from what I hear, but there was a time when Spider-Man wasn't very funny at all, and that was a bit of a bummer. You know, just so sad for so long. There's so much going on. He had a kid and didn't have a kid, and they kept killing out, not killing out. Spider-Man got really dark, just sad. It wasn't even dark; it was just sad for a good hot minute. I mean, they made use of it. There were some pretty cool stories to come out of it, but still, man. I mean, sometimes you're just like, man, can somebody show up and just give this guy a hug? And I mean, they would give him a hug because, man, he just had the worst shit happen to him ever. And then that was like Monday, and on Tuesday, fucking the powers that be were gonna top that shit. Like, you thought that sucked, my nigga. You watch this, man. Oh, it was awful for Spider-Man for a minute, you know. This may not work for us. I don't know. I think I need some more head someplace. This ain't working. The head is not right. I don't know what I want to do with it at this point. It's just his eyes are there. Give me all that back. Give me all that back. Alright. So if his eyes are there, let's see. Okay. Let's give me another layer, and we'll just give him his head real quick. Let's just. There's his ears down here, right? Okay, fine. And we'll just. Now. Oh yeah, the best Batman ears are Frank Miller's Batman ears. The big pointy ears, Brian Stilfreeze and all those guys who did all the big pointy ears. I never got with that. I couldn't understand why you would do that. I thought that was not my favorite thing. All right. Okay. Wait a second. Still got a problem here. What is this? Hey, where are we at here? Oh, okay. Okay. Huh. All right. Wait a second. Something's wrong. Okay, I thought so. I need to get rid of. Oh, there it is. I cannot see it there. Okay. Where am I? Okay. Is that right? That's right. Okay. There we go. And we'll just kind of give him a little bit of a head. Like, because I always felt like, doesn't Bruce Wayne have hair? Where is the hair? Shouldn't it look kind of, I don't know, baggy or something? Or kind of hair? He has hair under there someplace. The straight on view bugs me. And you know what really bugs me is it bugs me and then someone will see it and they won't say anything about it because they think I love it. And it's like, I just didn't think of another dynamic angle. I just drew it. But you can tell me that you don't like it because I don't like it either. You know, yeah, I think I maybe have a look on my face that says I'll burst into tears if you say anything mean. I probably do. But truth be told, oh man, I can take it, man. You don't like something, you gotta just break it down to me and tell me, because half the time I don't like that shit you don't like. I don't like it either. I don't. When I see it, you know. And part of me feeds on the whole thing that people seem to be afraid of just to tell me what they think. So I purposely don't show finished work on anything. I don't. None of my work on DeviantArt is finished. I just don't show finished work because people tend to assume that it's finished. Like I stopped showing stuff on the Facebook uh, group pages because I show unfinished artwork. This is my process. This is what I'm in the middle of. What do you think at this juncture? And people talk to me like it's finished. You can't show me that. That's not finished. Well, okay. Or this is horrible. You need to do this, that, and the other. I'm like, I told you this isn't finished, right? I mean, and that's why I'm asking you now, so it's not too late. You know. So yeah, this I might finish. I don't know. I don't know what finished means with a picture like this. I'm definitely not gonna do anything with this other than be done with it eventually. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll sit on YouTube and get like one view. That's it. Yeah, let's back out and see what we got going on here. Ain't that something? I don't know, man. I kind of dig that. I kind of dig that. That actually doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible. Doesn't look terrible at all. Okay, it doesn't look terrible. So let's stop here for the sake of non-terribleness. And oh, that's what we want that for. Okay. Save. I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll be back in a little bit.